Hi, and welcome to Small Publishing in a Big Universe, the middle of November, and the NaNoWriMo episode. Many of us here are in the midst of our National Novel Writing Month's projects. If you don't know what that is, it's when you have 30 days to write 50,000 words. Piece of cake, right? For more information, go to NaNoWriMo.org. This month we have author Morgan Chalut talking about her first published novel, Seeker, which is book 1 of the Unwoven Tapestry series. Coming from our sponsors this month, just in time for your holiday shopping. From Paper Angel Press and author Michael Thal comes a fictionalized memoir about a deaf woman who refuses to let the challenges in her life stop her from living a fulfilling life. Water Dragon Publishing has 2 novels coming out this month. Bubbles of Time by Lorna Hopkins Keith is a follow-up to her novel Cityfall. Second, Sky Chase, the first book in the Flight of Ships series by Lauren Masuda, is a young adult fantasy novel that will transport you to a vast world of airborne ships and floating islands. And in the Dragon Gems series comes Third Time's the Charm by Stephen D. Brewer. When an airship is hijacked by pirates, a young man with a secret loses his mentor and his future. There are also audiobooks featured this month. Shelby McDougall is facing a mountain of student debt and a memory that she'd just as soon forget. An ad asking for a surrogate mother offers her a way to erase the loans and write her karmic place in the cosmos. From author Nancy Wood comes the Shelby McDougall Mysteries, now available in audio editions narrated by Jen Broda. Listen to Nancy Wood's suspenseful world, solving mysteries of kidnappings, stolen fertility, genetic experimentation, and surrogate motherhood. The Shelby McDougall series, Due Date, The Stork, and The Found Child, in addition to Treasure Hunt, a Shelby McDougall story, all written by Nancy Wood and read for you by Jen Broda, are available in audio editions from Audible, Amazon, and Apple iTunes. Welcome back to the interview portion of our program. This month, we have Morgan Chalut, who will be telling us about her new book, Seeker, which is the first book of the Unwoven Tapestry series. This is Morgan's first published novel, and we're excited to have her with us today to share that experience. We discuss why and how she wrote it, and who she wants to play the main character in her movie. With me, I have Morgan Chalut, who is the author of Seeker, which is the first book in the Unwoven Tapestry series. So hi, Morgan.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
The first question is, what is your most recent book about?
I'm going to say the short of it is that the book is about loss and gain, and ultimately the never-ending need to recognize your bias and the blinders that you put on around the functioning of society.
Is your book part of a series? And if so, what is the whole series about?
Yes, it is part of a series. Seeker is the first book. The second is Hunter, and the third is Magus. That is a trilogy, and hopefully I will get to turn it into a quartet with a companion piece. We'll see. But the overarching series is about reassessment of your worldview, and it's about never taking for granted your bias and privilege and making sure that you take off your blinders. Things are not as they appear.
What is your favorite character in the book?
See, that's hard, man.
It's hard to choose one child, isn't it?
It is. I mean, we all have our favorite children. So Whitman is a lot of fun. He actually just brought himself on the scene, and like I said, I was writing it, and then just suddenly this character appeared and started talking and being very entertaining, and I was like, okay. So he's a lot of fun, definitely. His dialogue can be something of a trial because he's a lot smarter than me, but he's fun. But I will say my main character, Donovan, really is a joy to write. I just love his flaws and the virtues and stuff that he's got, and I'm really proud of the work that I've put into him and how he's developed. So it feels good to write him and feels like he's a real person.
What is your favorite scene, or do you have a favorite scene in the book?
I do, actually. I'm very demisexual myself. I like to have a relationship with someone before any kind of like romantic stuff comes up. And so I really love platonic relationships, and I don't feel like we see enough of that in media of any flavor. So there's a scene where the job title that Donovan, my main character, has is a retriever. They go out and pick up the kids that show magic and bring them to the school for Magic the Order. And there's a scene in there where a bunch of the retrievers all kind of come back at the same time, and they all sit together in somebody's room and they just talk. They're coworkers, but they're not all especially super close because they're all on the road at different times. They each have kind of their partnerships, but I just really love that because it shows that kind of detox moment. And I could have written 30 more pages of them just hanging out and just talking to the wee hours of the night.
What was the most difficult scene for you to write?
Generally, this started out as a writing project to get myself to prove my descriptions of stuff because I'm not a visual thinker. So pretty much anything where there's description, especially the visual nature of seeking the magic that Donovan uses, hence the title, roll credits. That was tough. But I think really the one scene was the introduction of my antagonist, because I probably rewrote that scene more than a dozen times. And it's not published yet, so it's probably going to be a few more times. But I really wanted to get it right because that introduction makes a big difference. And I like him. I think he's an interesting antagonist. So that's hard. It was tough.
Do you write mostly novels or short stories?
I prefer to write novels. In case you couldn't tell, I never, ever stop talking. So I don't understand the whole concept of less is more. I've tried to write some shorter stories, but they just keep going and it's fun. And I have so much fun developing the world and the characters and everything that I can't. So definitely long form is my game.
What is your work schedule while you're writing?
So I do have a regular day job, but I try being the key word, to write for an hour in the evenings, or at least be active with my writing in the evening. So whether or not I actually put words on page, if I'm doing some research or looking for artwork, things like that, and educating myself in that way. Yeah, I try to do that sometime between, 4 and 7, just an hour. So, and then oftentimes I'll manage to write between 800 and 1500 words and, just kind of a chunk, and it feels good to get that on paper.
What would you say is your most interesting writing quirk?
So I'd say that, plots are my bane. I really struggle with plots. I am, as far as plotters or pantsers go, I am 100% a pantser. This book started out as a writing exercise. And then it just developed, and then I was like, oh, and then I got to the end and I was like, apparently it wants to be more than one book. I'd say my quirk is that I like to start with either an emotion. I'm a very emotional thinker and processor, or I'll start with a character, like a scene, and I'll build off of that. What do I want to see and kind of get into that way?
Would you want your book to be made into a movie, and who would star in it?
So I think generally speaking, the idea of a movie is always exciting and delightful, but I think these days we all kind of want our stuff to be made into a show. So there's more time to kind of explore and
a TV show. Okay.
Yeah,
like a mini series.
Yeah. So, more time to explore the world and get all those little scenes and dialogue pieces in. So yes, I would. As far as who would star in it, I have to say probably Donald Glover, but like 30 years from now. Because Donovan's older, he's in his 60s.
Right.
I love Donald Glover. I think he's fantastic. So I think he'd do a good job.
How was your publishing experience?
It's been fantastic. Water Dragon Publishing has been very responsive, and we have a regular kind of sense of humor back and forth that is very easy to turn into a more serious discussion of stuff that needs to be addressed right away. But it's been great. Everybody's been really fantastic and like I said, very communicative. So I'm very excited to be working with them.
Now, how can people contact you?
You can contact me at morgan@paperangelpress.com. That is where I'm taking all of my comments, questions, rash political statements, etc.
And where can they find your book?
You can find Seeker on the Water Dragon Publishing website, waterdragonpublishing.com. And you can also find it at morganchalut.com. That's CHALUT, curse the French, which will probably redirect you to Water Dragon Publishing, but you get to see pictures of my dogs. So
thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for yours. It was a pleasure.
Bubbles of Time is a follow-up to Lorna Hopkins Keith's novel Cityfall. When Janny's mind talent leads her to space, she discovers other human colonies and a threat to them all. On the world of peace, Janny must persuade her clan of the danger and move the colonists from another planet to her world. On the planet Starview, leader Samantha Lar, facing earthquakes and water and food shortages after their disastrous move from the dying city, foresees a coming menace and faces the daunting task of convincing her people to move to another world. When aliens attack peace, Janny must convince the Watchers, who have programmed Janny's clan to replace them, that her clan should remain human. Bubbles of Time by Lorna Hopkins Keith is available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Smashwords, and other online booksellers. Or support your local independent bookstores by ordering it through bookshop.org or indiebound.org. For more information, visit waterdragonpublishing.com/Bubbles of Time. Thanks again to our guest, Morgan Chalut, author of Seeker. We plan on publishing new episodes every second Wednesday of the month. Watch for new episodes around that time. Next time we will have Lisa Jacob, oh, that's me, talking about her book, Carnival Farm. Music is provided by Melody Loops. Additional sound effects by NASA. If you want to know more about small publishing in a big universe, visit our website at spbu-podcast.com. Tweet us at spbu-podcast and like us on Facebook at spbu-podcast. This podcast was recorded and edited by yours truly, L.A. Jacob. This month's episode was sponsored by Paper Angel Press and its imprints, Water Dragon Publishing, and Unruly Voices. You can hear our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Amazon Music. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Three modern empires clash. One will fall. While Charlie and Kappa are in China seeking help from Charlie's former martial arts master, Anne Perrin must decide if a new faction of vampires in San Francisco, created from her own genetically modified blood, are worth sparing, or if they're simply adding to the growing vampire scourge. From author Ryan Southwick comes Angel's Fall, Book 3 of the Z-Tech Chronicles. Dive into the epic, urban fantasy and science fiction series that readers say is powerful, has enough intensity and inventiveness for 3 books all by itself, and surprises and satisfies with every hairpin turn. The Z-Tech Chronicles are written by Ryan Southwick, published by Water Dragon Publishing, and available from all your favorite retailers, including Amazon.com, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo.
This is my ship, damn it, and I'm not going to let an infinite stream of gurgling inner space woo magic turn my home, decrepit though it is, into a piece of drifting junk with a gaping hole where the escape pod used to be.